Here we go.
John Kelly, Jack Napier, Joe Kerr, the King of Comedy, the Jester of Genocide, the Agent of Chaos, Red Hood, Mr. J, Puddin', Jack White, or simply
The Clown Prince of Crime, Joker.
He has been called many names over the years. We all love Joker. He has been in comics for almost as long as the Dark Knight himself, having his debut in Batman issue 1 in April of 1940. The Joker has been a thorn in Batman's side for over 80 years, and he is of course Batman's greatest nemesis. There is no Batman without the Joker, and there is no Joker without the Batman. But this is not a video about the dynamic between the clown and the Bat, but something wholly different. Because today I want to take a look at the origin of Mr. J as he appeared in Batman the Animated Series, and of course the original intended origin story from the comic books. Because here at JustPhantomComics I'm going to have to live up to my name and actually start talking about comic books for once. In hindsight, starting out with the Joker might not have been such a good idea, as he is one of the only two recurring villains to never have a dedicated origin episode, the other one being Oswald Cobblepot, the Penguin. Some of Joker's past is however shown in the fantastic animated movie Batman Mask of the Phantasm, though he doesn't get a full dedicated backstory. And we get a few hints throughout Batman the Animated Series and the new Batman Adventures. One of the reasons Batman the Animated Series is so highly regarded is because it redefined the backstories of so many of Batman's rogues that would later be implemented into the mainstream DC universe.
A time before, there were perfect things. Diamond absolutes. Things fall.
To be fair, that worked much better in my head. If only it wasn't for those diamond absolutes. Whatever that means. Please, Zack Snyder, what does diamond absolute means? Now let's talk about Joker's origin story in the comics, as that came before and, to be honest, isn't a whole lot different to what it is today, other than some added elements. They didn't actually show the origin of the character in their debut. Joker's origin wouldn't be shown until 11 years later in Detective Comics Volume 1 issue 168 with a cover date of February 1951. The story we are talking about today is Batman with Robin, the Boy Wonder, the man behind the Red Hood. Written by Bill Finger with artists Lou Sayers-Schwartz, George Russos, and Win Mortier, and Jack Schiff serving as the editor. In this story, the writers urge the reader to observe and interpret the clues given to them to see if they can figure out who the man behind the mask is. Now, the story, it is nighttime in Gotham City despite it being as bright as the afternoon. It must be summertime. Batman and Robin are swinging towards the police department to answer the call of the bat signal. The officer has called Batman in for an important assignment. He wants Batman to meet Dean Chalmers of State University. Mr. Dean wants Batman to lecture some students in criminology, like he doesn't have anything better to do. There's nothing like putting crime fighting on hold to be a part-time teacher. For some reason Batman accepts, like he and Robin aren't the only useful people in Gotham who have a slight chance of stopping crime. The next morning, Batman strolls in on campus as he is sexually harassed and catcalled by two students.
Boy, look at those shoulders from Batman. What a fullback he'd make.
Golly, I'm sorry I didn't sign up for that course. Isn't he divine? Absolutely disgusting. To better understand this class and students, Batman interviews a total of 2 students, and not even one of them being a woman. As a matter of fact, not a single woman signed up for the criminology course. A great way to subvert the sexism, eh?
I thought my jokes were bad.
My personal favorite reason is by student Jimmy Cale. My father was Chips Cale, the gangster. I swear I will make it up to society by taking the place of the FBI man he unalived. It's a debt I must pay off. During the afternoon, Professor Batman, I guess the only thing that will make it even funnier is if he was wearing a white lab coat. But yeah, he didn't even try, he just wears his batsuit. After a month of lessons, Batman drops a bombshell on the students. The world's greatest detective needs them, a bunch of college students mind you, to solve a crime that he could never solve, the case of the Red Hood. And he calls it a test case. I mean, if the world's greatest detective can't figure it out, then how are they supposed to? We then jump 10 years into the past as Batman chases the masked criminal. So the reason the Red Hood wears a mask that covers their face completely is because they believe the face has so many identifiable traits that they can give away one's identity, but not with the Red Hood mask, as it covers the face completely. As Batman chases the masked individual, the Red Hood shoots and misses Batman, instead hitting a gas pipe full of ammonia gas. But wait, I hear you say, what is ammonia gas? Well, my uneducated friends, let me, Professor Phantom Comics, explain. Ammonia is a colorless, highly irritating gas with a sharp, suffocating odor. It dissolves easily in water to form ammonium hydroxide solution, which can cause irritation and burns. Ammonia gas is easily compressed and forms a clear, colorless liquid under pressure. As the pipes were quickly filling the room with gas, Batman had to quickly swerve to open a window. As the Cape Crusader turns around, the hood is gone.
You're him.
No, not that hood. No, not that one either. This hood. 1 month later, the Red Hood dives into a catch basin for chemical waste, never to be seen again. As we go back to the present, Batman ponders if the Red Hood unalived that day or just retired. The day after they reopened the Red Hood case, it makes front page news. Students probe 10-year mystery. And it's just as well as the Red Hood returns to terrorize the dirty streets of the college campus. The Dark Knight and his ward Dick follow the man. For some reason, Robin aims straight at the mask made out of solid metal and breaks a finger. As Batman chases the Hood, the criminal once again manages to escape, but not before making an Atom Smasher reference, who wouldn't actually make his debut until 20 years later. But yeah, he escapes again, this time through the school's suspicious poison gas main. But a great detective that he is, Batman finds a hat and finds a piece of green hair on it. Later, when Bruce returns to campus as Batman, oh but wait, the world's greatest detective apprehended the wrong character. It's not Red Hood, it's Paul Wong of Wong Industries. Well, no, it's not Paul Wong from Wong Industries, it's just Paul Wong, the criminology student. He was only wearing a replica, as they have now found out how he sees through his mask. It actually just uses a two-way mirror where the eye holes are, simple as that. Along with that, it functions as a diving mask and a gas mask. Truly great engineering if you ask me. Through good old observation and deduction, that can only mean one thing. The Red Hood is actually the Joker.
Yes, Batman. That's the one secret I kept from you all these years.
The Joker goes on to explain how his hair became green, his face chalk white, and his big sexy lips became red as blood itself. All I wanna know is, what that mouth do? Apparently swimming through that chemical waste gave him a permanent makeover. Luckily for Joker, the 1 million he stole came from the Monarch Playing Card Company, who happened to be a card developing company producing, but not limited to, Joker playing cards. And that's how he got his name, from actual playing cards. Because now that he resembles a clown, it just makes perfect sense. So as you can see, there's not much to the origin. He just dives into a pool of chemicals because he thinks he can survive it, because effectively his mask works as a gas mask and a diving mask, but it backfires on him and it turns his skin white and his hair green. It just happens that the 1 million he stole from came from a card producing company, and they were producing Joker cards, and he ended up looking like one of the Joker cards when he dove into the chemicals. So now he just calls himself the Joker. And as you can see, we get no backstory before he became the Red Hood. One day Batman just ran into him and starts chasing him, and then a few months later, or a month later, he dives into the chemicals and becomes the Joker. As you can see, the Joker's origin is very simple and basic. Not much to it, it is rooted in mystery. The only thing we know is that he was once a criminal before he became the Joker. The Joker didn't turn him criminal, he was always a criminal. But I think it works very well with a character like the Joker that we don't know anything about him basically. Even to this day, there isn't really a definitive origin story or backstory for the Joker, even with the 3 Joker concept that we have in the comics, right? I do believe the Joker is the only really famous villain of Batman's that doesn't have an established origin story. Even a character like Bane, who is pretty mysterious, we know his backstory, right? We just don't know his real name. But with Joker, we don't know his real name or where he came from. Before we go into the animated universe origin of the Joker, consider liking and subscribing, as it would really help out the channel. We are on our way to 700 subscribers, a milestone that I never thought I would reach. I don't often ask for likes and subscriptions, but I really do appreciate them, even though I don't say it enough. Believe me, all your support has been noticed over the last few months, and keep on commenting. I love engaging with you all.
Make Daddy proud. Deliver the punchline.
As you can see, the widely beloved origin for the Joker got its inspiration from a comic book that's over 60 years old. Obviously, the legend of the Red Hood has been widely expanded upon, but Joker as Red Hood and falling into Ace Chemicals is widely agreed upon as a definitive origin, though the Joker has no true origin. Now that we have taken a look at the comic, let's take a look at the less than ideal backstory, and I say that loosely, of the Joker in the movie Batman Mask of the Phantasm, Batman the Animated Series, and the new Batman Adventures. A little bit of Joker's backstory is seen in the movie Mask of the Phantasm, though he has no speaking role as Jack Napier, the pre-Joker, and no one ever refers to him as such. The name Jack Napier is also used sparingly throughout the animated series. One possible origin is shown in the new Batman Adventures Season 2, Episode 11, in the episode titled Mad Love, written by Paul Dini. It is famous for telling the origin story of Harley Quinn, adapted from the one-shot comic of the same name, also written by Paul Dini. Alright, let's start off with the movie Batman Mask of the Phantasm, where we get the first chronological showing of Joker, or as he is known as, Jack Napier. During the movie he is actually never referred to as Jack Napier, but we know for a fact that at least one of his aliases is Jack Napier from episodes in Batman the Anime Series and the new Batman Adventures. We'll get to those later. Before he became known as the infamous Clown Prince of Crime, the Joker was a high-level hitman and chauffeur for the powerful Valestra mob, which included members such as Alvator Valestra, Boss Bronsky, and Chucky Saul. This was also a time where Bruce Wayne hadn't yet donned the cape and cowl. Bruce and Jack would however lay eyes on each other a few times before they would clash as Batman and Joker in a never-ending struggle. The first time Napier would see Bruce was when he had left the office of Carl Beaumont, a businessman who had embezzled money from the mob the Joker was part of. Bruce's girlfriend, Andrea Beaumont, daughter of Mr. Beaumont, would introduce Bruce to her father there. As they were leaving, Napier was sitting in the car looking at them through a side mirror. The second time Bruce would see Napier is when he was dropping off his girlfriend Andrea at her estate, and Napier was standing outside the front door serving as a lookout. One of Napier's last jobs before the mob would break apart would take place in Europe, somewhere on the Mediterranean coast. His target? Carl Beaumont. Mr. Beaumont and his daughter had fled to Europe as Beaumont was late on his payments. One day, as Andrea came back from grocery shopping, Jack Napier comes out of the house in silence with a suspicious looking grin. He had, in fact, unalived Mr. Beaumont. In the process, he unknowingly jump-started the career of Bruce Wayne as Batman. In a way, Joker created Batman in this universe, because if he had let Beaumont off the hook, Andrea and Bruce Wayne would probably have married each other, and then Batman would have faded away into an obscure memory, as he was ready to give up the crime fighting now that he had found true love, only for it to be taken away from him. This would also be the last physical, canonical, in-universe appearance of Jack besides a quote-unquote flashback sequence by Arkham Doctor Harleen Quinzel in the episode Mad Love, and a TV segment in Beware the Creeper. In the episode Mad Love, we hear Dr. Quinzel interview Joker. Here he talks about how he was abused by his father.
You know, my father used to beat me up pretty badly.
Most likely a sympathy story, but we will never know. Here we also see that Batman deliberately throws Napier into a vat of chemicals, turning him into the Joker. Or this is the story he tells Dr. Quinzel at least. He is of course a pathological liar. Let's jump to the 10th episode of the second season of the new Batman Adventures titled Beware the Creeper, written by Steve Gerber. I'm gonna let my good friend Jack Ryder explain this one. Over to you, Jack Ryder.
I'm Jack Ryder. Join me as we answer these questions and more on Joker, the madness behind the laughter. His true identity unknown. Operating under a variety of aliases, a nameless gunsel began his criminal career as a hitman for the Valestra mob. Then he struck out on his own, formed a gang.
Come on, Bruce.
First target, the Ace Chemical Plant. It was a foolproof plan, or was it? The daring break-in. The first confrontation with the Batman. Conflict. Struggle. A vat of chemicals. A life changed forever. Former identity erased. New persona, the Joker.
Uh-oh.
This episode makes it clear that Jack Napier is not his real name and that he used various aliases. In previous episodes of Batman the Animated Series, Joker had been referred to as Jack Napier exclusively, but in this revamped series, the new Batman Adventures, it is clear that his identity is unknown. His first and last job after leaving the mob would be the Ace Chemical Plant, as you just saw my friend Jack explain.
First target, the Ace Chemical Plant.
First target, the Ace Chemical Plant. First target, the Ace Chemical Plant.
As you can see, it somewhat resembles the original origin from the comics, with a few tweaks and details added and missing. It takes heavy inspiration from Joker in the 1989 Batman movie, but here you can see that there is no Red Hood to be found anywhere, instead opting for an entire gang. The chemical bat would also give him a new personality. In the comics, he of course got inspired by a playing card because he resembled a clown, but here he just became insane. But he still fights Batman and he still falls into a vat of chemicals transforming him. The fundamentals are the same, it's just the circumstances that are different. In Dreams of Darkness, the 28th episode of Batman the Animated Series, written by Judith and Garfield Reeves Stevens, Joker is referred to as Jack Napier by Dr. Bartholomew, a doctor working in Arkham Asylum.
Jack Napier, Harvey Dent, Pamela Isley, or as you call them, the Joker, Two-Face, and Poison Ivy.
And in the 42nd episode of Batman the Animated Series, Joker's Wild, written by Paul Dini, Joker is once again referred to as Jack Napier in a dossier Batman finds in the casino owned by Cameron Kaiser. Say what you will about the backstory and origin of the Joker in the DC animated universe, but I really like the fact that Joker kind of creates the Batman. Of course, he was going to be Batman regardless. The only reason he didn't become Batman is because he found true love, and Joker took away that true love. Let's say he never met Andrea, he would have become Batman, even without the Joker. But he did find true love, and he did lose his true love, and thus became Batman. I don't know, I just really like that, and I think it should be implemented into canon, because this is such a good concept. Just incorporate Joker into Batman's backstory somehow. Obviously I don't want Joker to be the man who unalived Bruce's parents, that's taking it too far. But having him in the background as a minor character that made him become Batman. Alright, we have now reached the end. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment stating your opinion on if Joker should be incorporated into Batman's origin story or backstory or not. It would be really fascinating.
Looking